This is going to be a challenge to overcome. Private Internet Access, or PIA for short, is a VPN provider that helps protect your devices and your personal data from hackers, internet service providers, or just anyone on the same Wi-Fi network. It does so by virtually changing and encrypting your IP address, safeguarding your data, and providing a lot of other benefits in the process. I personally like to use VPNs for streaming services, that way I can get access to catalogs that may not be available in the US. Watching Netflix without private internet access is like paying for dinner at a Michelin 3-star restaurant and only being allowed to order off the kids' menu. They have a whole plethora of amazing options from around the globe, but despite paying for it, you're not allowed to have most of it. And it's exactly the same with streaming services. For instance, Netflix has a huge list of TVs and shows, but depending on where you are in the world, you only are allowed a small portion of it. But with private internet access, you can virtually change your location to anywhere in the world, that way you can make the most of your subscription. With just a couple clicks, I can now access tons of movies and TV shows that aren't available in the US, such as The Office, Always Sunny, Schitt's Creek, and more. You can also use VPNs to get better deals on certain websites, subscription services, and even flights. And if you're ready to get started, you're in luck because we have a special deal for my audience. By using the link below or in the description, you can get up to 83% off, which comes to just $2.03 a month. And you can get an extra 4 months for free. And with just one subscription, you can cover an unlimited number of devices. So whether it's your phone, your tablet, your computer, your partner's phone, all your devices are covered. And if you're not satisfied, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So get started today by using the link below to get up to 83% off with private internet access. And now onto the video. Hi guys, welcome back to Give It To Me Straight, the breast show on YouTube. I'm your host, Maddy Morphosis, and joining me on the show today is all the way from Dragula Season 5, the winner of Hot House Season 1, and you may have seen her on other television appearances such as Botched, Miss Fantasia Royale Gaga.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad there's room for us here today.
Absolutely.
It's hard enough for two people, to fit under the screen, much less, all these ladies as well,
Absolutely.
the quadruplets.
Yeah, it look like you're trying to give me a run for my money.
I know. Well, I was going to buy one of those, silicone breastplates. I was trying to find the biggest one I could find. And I saw the cost of them, and I was like, I'm not paying that much just for, a YouTube gag.
How much are they?
It was, at least $500 for, a cheap one. Yeah, to even compete with, what you're rocking.
Oh, my God.
But granted, I know you probably spent more than $500.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you probably you spent a little bit more than $500 on yours. But, so now we have these abnormally high, inconvenient Chumbawambas, but...
They look good on you, though.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You don't think I need a reduction or anything?
No, I actually think it should go bigger.
I feel like the only reason I would ever use this is to eat a TV dinner or something. It's just
Absolutely.
a table.
Well, sometimes that's how I eat my food.
You
I would literally sit it up there and eat it so it can be closer to my face, because when I try to eat it like this, it just sometimes it doesn't work, or either everything drops in between.
Or imagine if you're sitting at a bar top too. It's hard to do you put them under or on top of the bar?
Depending, mostly under. I usually lean up like that and then just eat like that. Yeah, because if I put them on top, that's a big distraction. I already have a lot going on, so to be on top of the table with them, yeah, they might think I'm selling sets.
Which you are, but not at that moment.
Not at that moment.
And I feel like I'm already getting shoulder pain just from these. But you said before that you don't get shoulder pain from yours.
No, because I gradually got here. My first set of implants was 840 cc's, which was pretty big. But and then I gradually got to 3400 cc's. And so I guess my body is just accustomed to them.
How high are you not necessarily how are you wanting to go? How hard would you be willing to go?
I really wanted to go to 5,000 cc's, 5,000. But being an entertainer, I was like, that's not going to work.
No.
Trying to perform and jump around and dance around and all that. Yeah. If I wasn't an entertainer, then I probably would go all the way to 5,000. But I realized that I need to chill out.
You don't start paying for first class tickets everywhere just to have room,
so that I can sit. So I can sit in all the seats.
Do you know what the record is for silicone? Roughly?
Well, I don't have silicone. I have saline. So
not silicone. Silicone's what I was looking to buy on Amazon.
Right. So they have those. So
I got drag braid.
Right. So those are heavier than what saline would be. But when you go to a certain limit, then you have to start doing saline. And then some people do expanders, where it's like they can go in with a port and fill it up and fill it up and fill it up and fill it up. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just kind of like how you fill up a water bed. It's just like it's
Almost
in
like
there,
that.
and then you just
Well,
keep
that's
adding
when
to it
if
on
you
the
have
inside.
expanders. But for me, I actually just got implants with an internal bra.
Internal bra.
Yeah, so it's like a mesh piece that he sews to like your implant, like at the bottom to for extra large implants, so that they won't fall to your knees.
You have a built-in bra in your body,
I
like sewn
do.
in. That
I
is crazy.
absolutely do. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, yeah, like I did everything like the correct way. So they're like, oh
You
my
did.
gosh, like who did that to you? And I'm like, this doctor, he specializes in extra large implants.
You did it the industrial way. I didn't even know that was like a thing.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah, or they definitely be to my toes if I didn't.
They do what?
I have very elasticity skin, so like my skin stretches easily. So yeah, if I didn't have that internal bra, I'd probably like, whoosh.
Obviously, you probably don't get your bras from the store. Like, well, what is your bra size?
Okay, so the bras that I wear now are the bras that I had with my size before this.
They're just
because
hammocks.
they give me like a little extra push.
Mm.
So before this I had 2400 cc, so I went up 1000 cc. So my last bras, I think they were like 36 triple H.
Triple H?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the game, the wrestler?
Huh?
No, as a wrestler. It's like a reference for my straight audience, I guess.
Yeah.
38 Triple H.
36 triple H.
36 Triple H.
Yeah.
Damn.
I believe that's what it is.
Where do you find those?
You have to go to like they have different websites. So a lot of the girls who have extra large implants in the UK and like in Europe, they have like different places over there.
But as I mentioned, you said before that like you don't have back and shoulder pain from them because you gradually moved up for them.
Yeah.
But what are some of the lesser known struggles that you go through because of it that people may not know about?
I say the biggest thing was like sleeping because
Sleeping?
I always been a stomach sleeper. And I can't sleep on my stomach anymore. It's like I can, but it's just very uncomfortable. So I think like that's the biggest struggle. So now I sleep on my side or I sleep on my back. And like sleeping on my back, my titties, my breasts just have a mind of their own. And so this one be this way, this one be that way.
Where they roll back on you and just crush you in your sleep?
Yeah, like every time I go to sleep, I'm just getting knocked out in my sleep out.
It's hard being a woman.
Wake up with black eyes every day.
This isn't even makeup. This is... You woke up like this.
I woke up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it add like a weight to like your chest? Like, does it make it harder to breathe or?
No, it doesn't make it hard to breathe, but like I really don't realize how heavy they are until like someone would come up to me and be like, "Oh, can I see how like heavy your breasts are?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And when they actually lift it up, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh," because you could just feel the weight like just lift off.
I hate just like spending the whole interview talking about them, but obviously it's very unique experience that you have that most people on the show don't. You know,
Yeah.
most people don't have wear 36 Triple H bras.
Yeah, I'm kind
to
of
come
glad
on the
about
show.
it too, so they can stop asking me.
We're answering all the questions. So people ask you a question, they're like, send a link to the video.
Just send a
Just
link to
answer
the
all your
video.
questions. I appreciate you. Thank you. But like with that, like you talked about how heavy it is, like people like lifting it up just about, you feel like the weight coming off you. That leads me to like my own curiosity of like whenever you have a lover, it's like Sisyphus pushing that boulder up the hill, or two boulders in this case.
The guys that I engage with, they love women with large.
I'm sure they do.
So
It's like is it like a learning experience each time, or?
not really. Well, first, like I said, because I've been going like bigger and bigger as the years progress, like the experience get different every time. The issue is I haven't had a lover in 11 years, and 11 years
No.
ago I was not like this. 11 years ago, so all of this transpired over the last 11 years.
So there hasn't even been someone who's taken on this challenge yet.
No, a lot of guys are intimidated by me. So sexually, you know, like it's fun and everything, but yeah, actually, like, yeah, they're intimidated. They just don't know what to do. I'm a lot.
Yeah.
So it takes another confident guy who's very sure with themselves to even step to me when it comes to like a relationship.
Yeah. So like, what would you say has like been more of like an obstacle like in your dating life, like the like cosmetic procedures that you've had, like finding a lover that can handle the full-bodied woman that you are, or finding someone that's more or more of accepting and compatible with like your trans identity.
I think it's the borderline of fetishizing, or are they really into me? Like, want to get to know me? Like, want to get to know me outside of my appearance?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where like the issue came. And then also over the last 11 years, I was, still figuring out a lot of things with myself. So I didn't have time to give someone all of me. Like I physically I was changing, mentally I was changing, financially I was finally able to like afford all these things that I wanted to do and how I wanted to look. So I just really spent time just focusing on myself, to be honest. Like I met guys and I dated guys, not really dated, but like I've, had like dealings with guys along the way, but um looking back, I wasn't ready. Like now I feel like I have something to offer
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship.
I'm really curious about like what you talk about going through the changes of you like as a person, because obviously we know the physical ones because you don't look like that anymore. But in between like
Oh my gosh.
but in between like this young lady and the full-bodied woman that's before us now, like what are the changes you went through like as a person, like emotionally, spiritually, like what are the changes like in the past few years that you've gone through?
The main thing I was going through is like finally looking in the mirror and being happy with what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't going to stop until I got to that point. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, you're addicted to surgeries. Oh my God. Like, it's just like, no, I was just finally financially able to afford these things. So I did everything back to back to back to back to back. I wanted the reflection in the mirror to be something that I was happy about, and not just going through everyday life wishing that I can do these things or look like that.
Yeah.
And with that, I grew, mentally. Like I finally, like mentally, I was happy. Like I
Yeah.
feel like a complete person
Yeah.
now.
You finally got the house built the way you want. Now you're starting to add the
Now I'm just
furniture,
started
move
adding
things
things right.
around.
That's kind of like a way to look at it. Yeah, because like now if I do something, it's just be a little tweaking. But like right now, I am like basically like happy with what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the struggle through the years, trying to get to that point,
Mm-hmm.
because it takes like a minute. For some for some it's quick, but for me it just took a minute, because like people like I never wanted to look like the norm. I never wanted to fit in like with everyone else. I
No,
wanted no.
I wouldn't be able to pick you out of a crowd. What do you mean?
Oh
You
my
seem like just like
goodness.
every other.
No, I've never wanted that. I've always wanted to like just I had my own personal picture in my head of what I wanted to look like,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't stop until that happened.
Mm-hmm. Run it through like the list. Give us like the rundown of like the work you've had done that you're willing to share.
Okay.
And I'll stop you if I need something explained, because I'm
Okay,
gonna know some of
so
these words.
starting from the beginning, the
Okay.
beginning of my alterations was silicone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was black market silicone. That was me landing in a hotel room, me landing in a house room,
Oh my
getting
God.
injected
That's so
by.
dangerous.
It's very dangerous. And let me say this to any trans people that are watching: that is not the safe way. There are a lot of different options now to alter your body. Do not go get illegal silicone nowhere in your body. Stay away from it. So I just want to say that. But during the time when I started transitioning, that was the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was the doctors wasn't working on trans people, and they wasn't doing BBLs, and they wasn't doing like you literally had to go out the country. A lot of people went to Mexico back then, and I was a young baby just starting. I couldn't afford that.
Whenever you were getting some of those silicone injections, again with them being like black market, back alley silicone injections, or did you have fear when at that time when you were getting them?
No, the only thing was on my mind was like I'm about to be bodied, because it's a instant
Uh-huh.
it's an instant
Like gratification,
it's an
instant
instant
results.
gratification, like instant results. Also, when you were gold, it would be like pumping parties. So it would be you, it would be others getting like it done too. So
Parties.
yeah, we used to have pumping parties where a few of us would go and we would like take turns and we'll sit there while the other one's getting done and kind of like just
Y'all are treating this like the
chill.
nail salon.
Yeah, it was very like that.
Y'all
You
are
get this color, you get this color, you get this color.
it's full on silicone. Like you can put a little in your hips. Like I want to put a little here, move some down here.
So you're laying down and they're pumping you because that's what we call it, pumping, and you see all the needles laid out like with all the stuff drawn up. I mean, you're happy. You're like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like I'm gonna be able to like I'm getting my body
Mhm.
done. Like at that moment, you're just really happy because it's a part of your transition.
Mhm.
It's a part of making you at that time thinking that it made you more of a woman from seeing like all the other trans women and like the queer men making you feel like you're not woman enough if you didn't get these alterations done. Like if you didn't get breasts, if you didn't get your body done, if you couldn't be like a showgirl, like and get naked on the show like all the other girls, then you wasn't serious about your transition.
Mhm.
So a lot of that played a major part in getting silicone. So I got silicone in my face. My whole body is silicone. And it's so crazy because I still have a lot of young, trans women that come up to me now,
Mhm.
and I just had this happen to me like 2 or 3 weeks ago at the bar, and one of her friends like, please tell her don't get no silicone and stuff, and she really wanted to go and get silicone. I had this serious conversation with her. I'm like, don't do it because you just never know what would happen. Like I say, what look good on one person may not look good on you, or what works for one person may not work for you.
Mhm.
So you just never know. I'd rather you just go, gain a little weight, go get a little BBL. I know sometimes a lot of girls be over the BBLs because sometimes when you wake up, it's not like as much as you want it.
Mhm.
But that's just what At least it's safe.
Yeah.
At least it's safe.
Take it slow. Don't have pumping parties.
Yeah, please take it
It's
slow. Don't rush it. It's not a rush, honey.
Mhm.
It's really not.
Yeah, you're literally saying exactly. I just had my last guest was Kylie Cindy Glove,
Yeah.
and she's literally saying exactly what you're saying right now, which is like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Take it slow.
Take it
Don't
slow.
use everyone else as your guide. Find out what's right for you.
I started with that, injections. And then when I moved to Miami, I finally was able to like start affording, cosmetic surgeries. And
Hmm.
my first cosmetic surgery was breast implants.
Okay.
And that was 840 cc's.
Hmm.
And then from there, I
For
got
for the ignorant watching and myself, like 840 cc's, like roughly how big is that? You had to
uh
put a bra size
I
on it.
think I was like a double D.
Okay, so it's just like kind of big, but like normal big.
Yeah, it's kind of big, but normal big. But that's what, see,
Yeah.
the reason why I had to go so big is because before I got implants, I had silicone breasts, like from the injections.
Oh, okay.
So my breast was really nice and pretty. My silicone breasts were because
Mhm.
I was blessed enough to, get, good stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of my friends, a lot of people are not that
Mhm.
lucky.
Mhm.
And so my breast was pretty. So when I went to the doctor to get implants, he was like, "Oh, you have a lot of flesh. So we're gonna have to put like 840 cc's." So I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay, you're the doctor, whatever." I researched 840 cc's. I'm like, "Oh, those are kind of big."
Mhm.
And then when I got them, everybody reaction was, "Oh my gosh, girl, what did you do? Those titties are so big. Your breasts are so big."
Mhm.
And for me, that kind of like was like, "Oh, they are." And I was like, okay. Um, that started the breast surgery. Then I got rhinoplasty. So to end it all up, I've had like two facial feminization. I've had
You said
canto facial feminization is like where they go
what?
in.
I know FFS, but you said you had two facial
Yeah, I
feminizations.
did.
What happens like the second feminization surgery?
Okay, so basically you can go do it all at one time,
Mhm.
or you can like separate it. And so
Oh, they're
what
just different procedures at
it's
different
just different
times. Okay,
procedures. So
okay.
like so the first time
Mhm.
I did like my forehead lowering, my brow shave. I did my hairline lowering, my brow shave, brow lift, forehead shave, brow lift, and chin shave. And then the second time I did lip lift, nose, cheek implants, canthoplasty, and yeah,
What was that last one?
Catopexy is like the cat eye. When
The
they do
cat
like,
eye. How do they do that? What do they
when they
do?
snatch your eye. Like
Oh,
they go
do they
in
just
and
like pull the skin or?
yeah, they go in and they kind of like snatch it and then like sew it. So like they go in under your eye.
Mm,
Yeah.
that sounds so scary.
So they did all that the second time.
You're talking to someone that doesn't even have tattoos because I'm just like I'm so scared of making a permanent change to my body, like
Really?
that. I just got my ears pierced at 30.
Oh my
That's where I'm
goodness.
at, and even then it was like a big deal. Have you had any cosmetic surgeries like elsewhere on your body, like your
Yeah,
knees
so
done or a
so
pinky
I
toe
had got my
removal?
ankles done so that I would get
Ankles done.
yeah, so they took my ankles apart and so I'd be shorter.
You lying? You lying? I was like, ain't no way. After the ankle, that's too sensitive of an area. You would be hobbling around right now.
Oh my gosh,
So ain't no
no.
way.
No, so yeah, I've had my
You
face
almost got me for
done.
a second. I was like, wait, what?
Of course, I've had my body, my face. I've had liposuction a few times.
Hmm.
I had braces for a while, then I got veneers. I've had my nose done lots of times. And I got orchiotomy done in Thailand.
What is that?
Castration. Yeah.
Castration.
Yeah.
Can I ask, like, well, that's probably too personal. I don't
Oh,
know. I
nothing
don't.
is too personal to me. There's
Oh, okay.
always going to be someone watching that wants to like know what it is.
Yeah. Curious, is orchiectomy, like, I've never heard that term before. Is that a
It's
certain?
castration. So basically, it's like you know how you take your pets to get neutered and
Yeah,
spayed.
yeah, yeah.
I got neutered and spayed. So like your male dog still have his male genitals, just not
Hmm.
the testicles. The testicles get removed.
Is that for an affirmation thing or for like testosterone
It's like okay,
production
so because
or?
like when doing hormone therapy, one of the things we take is spironolactone, which is
Hmm.
medicine to suppress the testosterone in your body because we
Hmm.
want more estrogen than testosterone. For some trans women, it's a start to the full surgery. To some, it's just for me personally, it was like, okay, well, I just rather do that so I won't have to keep taking all this medication,
Uh-huh.
all the time. To just clip it because everything still works.
Yeah. And
You
it's
just
one less thing to tuck for the
yeah, I mean
show.
like
And
tucking is a little easier. And yeah, I don't have to take spironolactone anymore. So now I just take a little bit of estrogen and I'm good. But
mm,
yeah, everything basically still works the same. You just don't
yeah.
you just have orgasm.
That's so interesting. I didn't realize that. I mean, it makes sense whenever you're saying it, but like I know like a lot of trans women that have had full bottom surgery.
Yeah, a lot of my
I've never
friends
even heard that term. Is it orchiectomy?
orchiotomy.
Orchiectomy.
Yeah.
It sounds like a contestant on Dragula. That was what
Yeah, imagine
they were on your
that
season,
was
weren't they? With like all like the mushy
oh no,
face and stuff.
or
Yeah.
got it, yeah. But it's almost like yeah, yeah. That's what's. But I mean, that's a part of my surgeries. We're talking about like the things
Mm,
I've had done. Because I get that question a lot, but it's a difference from. And I do want to say this. It's a difference from us sitting here conversing. About like surgeries. On the show, you got a lot
mhm,
of different trans people that are watching that might want to consider it done. But it's a big difference from a random person coming up to you and saying, "Oh, do you got bottom surgery? Oh, do you still have your piece? Or do you have
mm,
like?" I feel like that is just
yeah.
so like stupid and dumb and rude.
Hmm.
Because you don't question a person like about their body. You don't just walk up to a person and question them about their body. That's something more personable. So yeah, don't just go up to trans people and say and ask them like about like their private parts.
Hmm.
But we're talking on the show, so that's
Yeah,
different,
yeah,
So
yeah.
it is like a thin line with how you do it.
Yeah. No, I say like if you didn't already open like the gates of like talking, mentioning orchiectomy, I probably wouldn't have even asked.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard that
Yeah,
word
no, that's a
before.
part of the surgeries that I've
Yeah.
had. Yeah.
Of all the surgeries, like what's been like the most like painful, like healing process and
Oh, you want to know? Like, okay,
your
so
ankles probably.
yeah,
Yeah,
my
all
ankles
those
definitely.
bones again. It's all
Yeah.
it's insane.
While we're talking about orchidoptomy, I don't know if I don't know if it was my facial feminization because when they go in and they do all
Hmm.
that, you're in surgery for hours and they're
Hmm.
like chipping and like when you finally wake up, it feels like literally like your head is exploding. Like you think you have a headache, but just imagine that like 10 times. But my orchiotomy was a whole nother thing because I got that done in Thailand, and I was over there right when the pandemic, when all the COVID stuff started. So they were rushing everybody that if you are in other countries, you need to come home now because we're locking the borders. It was right at the beginning, and
Oh,
I was
so
over there. So I had just got my surgery. I was supposed to stay over there. So
yeah.
imagine stressed out because I got to come all these hours back home
Mhm.
on a plane, swollen, sitting down like with like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah, so between my FFS and that, I don't know, because that was painful. All those hours, um, with my two big suitcases alone. I was
Mhm.
alone, so I had to carry these. You're not even supposed to be doing any of that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
would have to stay like between those two. Cause even my first my first few nose jobs, nothing. Like I
Mhm.
woke up, I'm like, okay. Now my last nose job, I did it under local anesthesia. So I was awake when they did the whole
Oh my
this
gosh.
that this was the most drastic nose job out of all the
Ugh,
ones I had.
I can't. No, I can't. I cannot imagine. I just got physically repulsed. I cannot imagine sitting on the table just watching your nose being operated on.
Well, I didn't know
I.
that at first. I didn't know that I was going to be getting it done on a local anesthesia. Like I
Uh-huh.
had under depression, like I did all the rest of my surgeries under like general anesthesia, and so I was pretty gagged when they pulled out this big needle and start injecting it with anesthesia.
Mm.
That was the like most like painful part about it. And then they say, from your lips all the way to the top of your head, numb. You can't feel nothing. All I could do is just sit there with everything on my chest, all the tools, and he just started cutting. And like honestly, I was pretty guy. I was scared, but also like intrigued at the same
My
time.
eyes are watering just thinking about this. I, you have lived a much more intense life in the hospital room than I have. But I've had a couple surgeries, very small ones. I had a surgery on my hand where I got cut, and I had an ingrown toenail that I had worked on. And that one, I couldn't look at it. They numb the toe, and they're doing it. You're not under anesthesia. It's just a toenail, but I couldn't look at it. I don't know. I couldn't watch it happen. So to have like right in your middle of the nose and you're just seeing them pull away, pulling skin.
You want to know? I
I
think
can't.
that he probably did it that way because I was so specific on I want the Barbie doll nose, and
Mhm.
I'm not getting any more nose jobs. Like this, I want this to be my final one. This is Turkey. Y'all are known for this. I've seen you do a few people with the Barbie noses, and I was very just specific, like with the pictures and everything. So I think that he probably was like, "Let me do it on the local, so I could actually show her,
Mhm.
like, yeah." Because he actually pulled the skin down,
Mhm.
and after he did what he did, and he gave me the mirror, and he said, "Do you want it that pointy, or do you want like is like yeah."
That is so that feels like that feels like some kind of movie. It's very like the Substance. Have you seen that movie
Oh
yet?
my God! So I went to the movie to go see that, and
Uh-huh.
it took so long to get to the really juicy part, and because the
Mhm.
juicy part of that movie is the last 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
fell asleep.
Oh
I
no.
fell asleep. I was knocked out, and then they say no. I woke up. My friends like you missed the good part, so I have to rewatch it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a trip. But I think like that like have a doctor like pull your face down, your nose off, and then hold the mirror like, do you like it like that or a little more?
Yeah,
That
very
is
that.
that is so crazy.
Mhm.
That is so unhinged.
Yeah, I have a
But
lot. I have a lot of like interesting surgery stories, but
what's probably your most interesting like surgical story or experience you have?
one of the funny ones when I was in Thailand and I was in the recovery room, I had on a wig.
Hmm.
And my wig fell off in front of all the trans girls that was in there. Like,
Oh no.
yeah. So that was like a funny moment because like all of them like spoke a different language, and like my wig just fell off, and then everybody just bust out laughing. And when I did my castration in Thailand, I don't know what type of anesthesia that was that they gave me, but
Mhm.
I swear I saw what heaven looked like.
Oh my god.
It was like I was going up into the light,
Uh-huh.
and like I was literally I was going upwards, 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 and then it was like just a bright white light, and then boom, I started coming back, and like to life.
I
It
think
was
you
a
almost
crazy.
died. I think you almost died. That doesn't sound like drugs. That sounds like you almost saw heaven.
Yeah. No, because it was because that specific surgery is really quick.
Mm,
So you're actually on the local, and it's like it's kind of local general. It's not like you're not fully asleep, but you
mm,
also are not like looking at them. So I don't
yeah.
know what's that called, but yeah.
Like with your trans journey, you left home whenever you were about 15 or so. So between like 15 to now, like how are you surviving and making a living like at that time?
Um, I started working the streets. Okay, let's go back. So when I left my mom's house, I was still in high school. And I was still going to school, and I moved with my aunt or whatever. So kind of like I kind of found out about drag being trans. I kind of found out about drag, trans people, and kind of like all at one time.
Oh, that's a lot.
And so, when my friend mom moved into a certain neighborhood, and we started, of course, like I was used to be at my friend's house all the time, staying over there. That's when we moved into a neighborhood where like a lot of trans people, a lot of queer people hung out at,
Mm,
and that's where the block was at. And the block is like where you go out and you escort. Like back in the day, it wasn't no internet. It wasn't none of these
mm,
like internet sites. It was you had to go on the streets
yeah.
to make your money. And so we moved over there in that neighborhood, and like, well, I found out about trans people and drag and all that in school. So I started doing like talent shows and stuff at the bars and stuff like that. So I was kind of like making money with winning the talent shows, but that
Mm,
really wasn't nothing.
yeah.
And then
And that won't pay your
that
bills.
wouldn't pay no bills,
Yeah.
anything like that. And then, in order to support my transition and get my hormones and go to buy my clothes and go get costumes and stuff, I had to make money. So we learned about I learned about the block, and the block was something that was fun to do during that time because like you're going out there, you're making quick money, and you're like hooking up with all these fine ass guys and all that, but also it was very dangerous. It was very dangerous. I'm a little young person, like out there, just doing my thing, and that goes back to say, luckily we had like the older trans women that they kind of guided us. They were like our moms. They guided
Mm,
us. They didn't encourage us to do it, but if we were out there doing it, they wasn't gonna let us like do it in the wrong way.
yeah. It just kind of
And
like let you
so
know, like if you're going to do this,
yeah, this
here's
is
how to
how it's
safely do it, who
done.
to
Yeah,
avoid,
make sure you do
etc.
this. This is how you avoid when you see like, we kind of like just learned the block or whatever. And then during that time, a lot of the trans girls in my group, we all was coming up together, so we all was eager to go out there and do whatever. So it started off as fun and
Mm,
making money, and then it started off with something that I really had to do in order to survive. Um.
mm.
And that's how it kind of like started for me. Like that's how I was able to like support myself starting
Mm.
off.
When did you start shifting that from what you were doing to like doing drag full
I
time?
was doing drag then also. Like I said, I was doing the talent shows, and then it went from doing the talent shows to they would put us on the show every Thursday, every Saturday, but it would be for free, but we would make like nice tips.
Mm,
Because back then it was about going out to the clubs. Like the club was packed, like lying down the street. Like,
mm.
if you was on show, you made money.
Yeah.
And like that started off as them taking us for a joke, but then they really can tell who was serious and who was not, and they always can see like a star in me.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and then I was a vocal major in school, so I was already like used to like performing on stages and all that. All I had to do was just learn about the art form, but the performance part, I
Mm.
already had that.
Yeah, because you went to like a performing arts high school.
Performing arts, high school,
Yeah.
middle school. My mom, when my mom discovered my gift of singing, like she always made sure I was in like magnet programs, like singing programs, all city
Mm,
youth chorus. Like, yeah, she always made sure that I was able to do those things.
yeah. When did you start to realize that you were trans?
It started like at home, like playing in my mom's stuff. Like, so for me to make myself feel like I was a woman, or like back then I would do things like wear contacts because guys wasn't wearing contacts then, like back then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, straight guys wasn't. Or I would like arch my eyebrows and like wear my eyebrows with liner, or I would like go to Payless and I used to buy like shoes or have girls bring me clothes to school and change my clothes at school, or like playing my mom heels when she was not home. Like it started off like that, but at that time, I still didn't know anything about like trans. And when I got to high school, and they showed me the magazine with all the trans goddesses, pageant goddesses, and all that in there. That's when I knew I was trans. That's when I knew
So
in my
that's the
head,
moment
I'm
you're like, that's what I want to be.
yeah. And so when I got to high school, you have the seniors and all of them, they had already started going to the clubs and like telling me about the queer spots and like the trans people and the drag shows and all that. So like that's when I knew, oh yeah. And I learned about hormone therapy and all that, and that's how it started.
It all happened kind of fast.
Yeah,
like right
it
there.
happened. All that happened in high school.
Well, as we mentioned, like you left your biological family whenever you were like 15, and it sounds like you were very kind of living very like out and open, or very differently at the very least. So, like, what was the relationship like between you and your family up until you left?
Well, it was like a back and forth thing. Like I would be with them, and then they'll piss me off, and then I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm gone." Like I was very much the type of person. When I remember the conversation exactly. Like when I was like, "I do not want to stay in this house anymore." I remember my mom and my stepdad sitting me down and asking me like, "Am I like, are you gay?" And I like, it was something like that, and I just, very angrily was like, "Yes, I am gay, and so what? Like, what is it like? What is that like got to do with anything?" And I left, and so I was always, cause my intermediate family is small, so I was always around my family, but just not like as close to them.
Yeah.
I started being more around my chosen family, more around my best friend, more around her family because her family was more accepting.
Yeah.
That's when I started like hanging around my chosen family and getting my chosen mom and my chosen sister. So like for me, that's where I found a new beginning. So like of course my biological family would still be around, and like I would go over there and see them and hang out with them and stuff, but it was more so like I'm over here because I want to be, not, oh, I'm living over here because I have to live in your house or I have to do this. It was very that for me.
Like I know like your mom is like a huge supporter of yours now, but like what was like the journey like that, with like beginning with a rocky relationship with your sexuality and everything, to now where she's front row at your shows with a foam finger. Like how was that learning curve?
I kind of am like in a situation where like I probably would never get to fully know why my mom felt that way about me, because now my mom is handicapped and a lot of things she don't remember. A lot of things changed with the surgery that happened to her.
I didn't know that.
Like, so right before I moved to Miami, my mom had just started coming to my shows and like putting my girl pictures on her desk at work and stuff, and like she had just started coming around. And then that surgery happened, and then life just took it a whole nother way. So a lot of questions that I have, I would never get the answers for. But to me, because I was the only openly queer person in my family, I just think it was just a lot for them to process, because I was the only one like that was like openly, like I was the only one. And she used to find like notes for me with boys, or like catch me like talking on the phone with like my other queer friends, or like my queer friends to call the house with like, may I speak to, blah 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 blah, like very that. And mama, I could just remember her like rolling her eyes.
What was the nickname they were calling you back then?
Tay was my nickname.
Tate?
Tay, Tae.
Tay.
Tay.
Okay.
Because my middle name at the time was Dante. And so my nickname for my family is Tay, and they still call me that. But my name now is Latavia. So Tay still go with it. So like my family still call me Tay, which I don't really got a problem with that, even though it's associated.
It's like a good like little bridge almost between the two worlds.
Yeah. So like, yeah, just that, and I think that she just wasn't ready to accept that like I got a queer child,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of me being queer, like I started like transitioning very early. They started like catching me dressing in girl clothes. Like people would call my mom, like the people at the
Mm-hmm.
school, they would call my mom and tell her that I'm walking around like in heels, and they never could figure me out. And I think that was another thing with my family. They just never could figure me out because I grew up in like a very religious background. So as much as I was, gay and queer and trans and all that, at the same time, I was still going to church, singing in the choir, still been told that I'm going to hell, still been trying to get the gay prayed out of me and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. So it just was a lot of things planned in that part. And I think that played a major part of how my mom felt.
Even despite everything you experienced in the church, you still are someone that still carries their faith. What was your relationship like whenever you were in church as a child? I think you said before, like they were trying to like convert you,
Yeah,
like
no, it
at the
was like in
sermons.
church as a child. So also, church was my happy space because of singing.
Mm.
But other than that, when they started all the crap with like putting me on the altar and
Mm-hmm.
like trying to pray the gay out of me, and I'm like, y'all doing all this praying, but then when I leave here, I still have these same desires. So if that was gonna work, why is it not? It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like basically that. Yeah.
Did like your gender identity or sexuality, did it ever like shake your faith at any point?
Now like I'm still a very spiritual person, but I'm
Mm.
not a religious person.
Mm.
If you
I think
yeah.
Mo Hart is exactly the same
Yeah,
way.
so like now that I'm older, I got my own knowledge and relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of those things I don't let bother me anymore because I don't believe in them. You have to believe in them in order for it to like affect you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like now I'm still a spiritual person. I love gospel music. I still listen to my gospel music. I still feel that energy, but that's that. Like I got my beliefs and what I believe in, and none of that like bothers me anymore. Like nobody can come up to me and say, "Oh, in this book it's saying that you're going
Yeah.
to hell because you do this or you do that." I don't believe in all that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Religion is like a cult, and it have a hold on a lot of people, and it really changes people. Like people will really like use that as a weapon.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what was happening to me growing up. They were using it as a weapon to me. Like, oh, you're gay, you're going to hell. But then in the same instance, you got other things in the Bible that they discussed and talked about that will also send you to that place. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay for my cousins to, be around here, like, doing all this other crap. That was another reason that made me upset growing up because you got my cousins doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm going to school, I'm making good grades, I'm in a school of arts, I'm singing, I'm happy, but because I choose to be queer, my sexuality or like or what I identify as
You're being
is
targeted
I'm being
almost.
targeted.
Yeah.
That was the like angry part about it growing up. It's like, huh? So y'all gonna pick and choose?
Yeah.
Especially like growing up and having relations with pastors, having relations with the same people that's preaching, saying that you're going to hell is the same one you just sucked off the night before, you met
Mm-hmm.
on the chat line. And at that time, I was what, 15, 16? And the thing is, I never told them that I was like 18, like anything like that. I was like telling my real age. They didn't care. I don't really talk about this a lot. Like this is probably my first time ever talk about this on like podcasts or television. But yeah, like I used to have relations with the pastors and the ministers. Like they were literally having sexual relationships with me. So that's why I don't trust none of them now. That's why I don't go to that place that they call the church and let them pray over me and let them preach all these things to me because everybody have their own skeletons in their closet that they're dealing with. And it's so crazy because a few of them still follow me on like social media.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's all crazy to me now. Like,
Yeah. You definitely lived a life. Like
I have, you
you
know
lived a
what? I
life.
have lived a very like
Mm-hmm.
interesting life.
But no, it has like really been a crazy journey because, despite all that, the journey you started on, a lot of people don't make it far on that journey, or some people, don't live through that journey. And you're here now in Las Vegas as a showgirl. I say showgirl, not a drag queen, because you don't
Yeah,
identify as a
I don't
drag queen.
identify as a drag queen. I identify as a trans performer that does drag.
And that led you to main cast shows in Florida, now in Vegas, and on national television. You've been on Dragula. You won Hot House. With Dragula, I know there's been like some contention online with your casting on Dragula, like some people feeling that you aren't spooky enough for a show like Dragula. What are your thoughts on that? What is your rebuttal to that?
I did what needed to be done.
You did what needed to be done.
I did what needed to
But
be
you
done.
do some spooky looks and stuff. But
My whole thing is like, I think like just so many people, because of the first few seasons of having like that artistry, and they not really seeing like too many like glamour girls like that, unless the challenge is called to do fifth. Glamour is a part of it. Glamour, fifth, horror.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't know. It started like season 4 with them doing that. Like they did it to Sigourney, and they did it to Bitter Betty, and all that. Like
Blackberry.
they did it to Blackberry. I think that's just like the narrative. But glamour girls definitely deserve to be there, and yeah, I showed them just that. I made it all the way up to to almost been in the finale as being a glamour girl.
Yeah. Despite your snake outfit.
Oh my God! Please do not start reading that snake outfit.
What's the story behind that? I'm so curious. Like, what happened?
I don't even know if I should say it. Like, I don't know. Like, so I've done a snake costume like that before Dragula. I have a Medusa look, and the snake costume doesn't have a slit in it, and it actually goes like in like a S. When I was preparing, I was told to make sure that I'd be able to walk in it for judgment. So in order to make sure I could walk in it, what did I do?
Cut like a little
I cut a
cut.
split in it, thinking that was going to work, but it obviously it didn't. It didn't come across right.
Yeah, it's just like falling apart, and then like the bottom of your feet that are dirty from the runway are just like poking through like the side of the belly of the
Well,
snake.
I had on like lime green stockings, and because of like the crawling and all that kind of stuff, the stockings got hold in them. So yeah, it just
the mess.
like I love the costume, like I love the idea, but the tail part is the part that stressed me out, especially like when they started like reading me about it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just felt like, dang, I shouldn't have cut a slit in it, but then I wouldn't have been able to walk in it. But I actually enjoyed doing that. But yeah, that was a lot.
Like I'm surprised that they didn't ever ask you like for Drag Race, just because it seems like you're very tailor-made. Like, you'd be a great character on that show.
Okay, so
assuming you've even auditioned.
So no, I've never auditioned for a Drag Race before, ever. Honestly, I've always loved the show, but I had never like had intentions on auditioning because of like the stigma of like at that point like trans women wasn't getting picked to be on there. So I'm like, why am I going to waste my time and audition? But of course, things have changed over the last few years.
Yeah.
And now, I'm like, oh, okay, now I want to audition. And, so yeah, that when it comes to Drag Race, that's that. I've always loved Dragula. I've watched it and everything like that. Never thought that I would be on it, but yeah. It really made me, it really gave me a whole totally different outlook on the show, like actually being on it and being around so many creative, amazing people. Like, they looked at me like I was mother because I've been on shows and I've been doing drag so long and all that kind of stuff, but you're never too old to learn. Like, this wasn't like my actual field, that like this wasn't my like my era of things. So when I was there filming, like I was like almost like a little kid in a candy store. Like I was learning from everybody, like I was like, oh my God, I didn't know how that worked. Oh, like I didn't know how this worked, So yeah, I learned a lot, like actually being on the show. And it made me just have a whole new love for Dragula, to be honest.
It's very different going from, this Miami showgirl to eating bugs
Right,
on TV.
right. So, yeah, that was the gag when they announced me being on the show. I knew that I was gonna like be the guy. Like everybody was like, "What?" Dragula was a great. It was a great. It was a really, 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 really great experience, and I'm so happy that I got a chance to be on there to give a lot of other girls that are like glamour girls, like glamour spooky girls
Mhm.
that feel like oh like that it's almost like the drag race thing with the trans girls. Like now, people feel like they have a chance, and I feel like now, like with me being on the show, I feel like there's a lot of other people, and I've been told by people when I go out places that I gave them that confidence to audition.
Mhm.
So I mean, like as long as I hear that, like that lets me know my job was done.
Mhm.
I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, and then like for everybody that's saying, "Oh, you're not Dragula," any person that would go to this extreme with body modifications,
Mhm.
that's Dragula.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Dragula, baby.
That's a good
That
point.
alone is Dragula, honey.
Yeah.
And the rest of it comes with the challenges. If you want me to get spooky, I can get spooky, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my version of spooky. I may not go out there with all the blood and all the like prosthetics and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That's your gig, and that's what you consider, doing for the challenge. I'm gonna go out there and do what I feel like, and evidently it worked.
Yeah.
It worked
You-
because
you-
a lot of y'all spooky mother went home.
Yeah. If anything, you're living the life more. They're cosplaying as spooky. You went to Thailand and got an orgasmectomy. So they need to step it up.
Oh my
They need to
gosh.
catch up to you.
Yeah, so yeah, Dragula was a great experience, and yeah, Glamour Girls fit in too, honey. So y'all can stop with that narrative, and we're not gonna keep doing that every season. Like,
Mhm.
oh my God, you're not spooky enough. You're glamour, baby.
Mhm.
It's all a part of the game because a lot of people go there and they do fifth the whole time with no glamour. Then they get red for not doing enough glamour. A lot of people go and they do horror the whole time. They get red for not doing enough
Mhm.
glamour. So I got a little, dirty and spooky here and there, but I went on there as me. So when people saw me on television, they saw me being the best version of me that I could be.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go on there try to fake all these
Just
different
cover
things.
yourself in blood.
That's not
and
why I
stuff.
was cast.
Yeah.
I know why I was cast, and I went on
Mhm.
there and did what needed to be done.
Yeah. You're true to yourself. But
Yeah,
with just a little spook. Just a
but
little
just a little
spook.
smooth.
Just a little spook.
And when
Yeah.
they wanted me to get filthy, they told me.
Uh-huh.
And guess what I did? I got a little more dark. I got a little more this, and
Oh,
I won.
we know you
the
got filthy. We
challenge.
know you got filthy. We saw the bottom of your feet at the snake look. So
Oh
we
my
know.
god!
But yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like that snake look is a lot of tea. Yeah.
But on that note, that is the last of my cards and the last bit of time we have today.
Oh my gosh!
But we had to rush you off to your gig. Before we go, I did want to get you something. It's actually in the mail right now. It's a little delayed behind. I wanted to get you an album. And since it's not here, I would just like to play you a song from the album. If you can just tell me the significance of the song.
Oh my gosh!
What is it about this
You
song
are
and this
going to-
album?
So this, oh my gosh, girl, you're gonna make me cry. This is the first song that I've ever. So this song, my grandmother, she's still living. My grandmother used to sing. She could sing too. Both of my grandparents, both of my grandmothers could sing. And this was the song my grandmother used to sing. And this is the first song that I actually started singing in church. They used to have to literally come up there and make me stop singing because I would keep going on and on and on. So like this is my song that I sung every week that they allowed me to sing starting at like 4 years old.
The song right here.
And that's when they discovered that I could sing.
Uh-huh. So this song is what birthed that talent for you and brought the little
Yeah.
performer
Oh my
in
gosh,
you.
like I literally was gonna bust out crying. Oh my gosh, because I was a grandma's child growing up. So she means a lot to me, and that's who I went to church with, and that's everyone to see me with her and stuff. So like every time I hear this song, I instantly think about her. Oh my gosh, like you literally did it with this. I'm like, ah! Wow.
You literally talked about your entire life journey, and I didn't well up at all the moment I played this song.
It's just, oh my God, like literally, it's still like want to come. I cannot believe that.
I figured all the operations you would have had your teardrops removed. I'm actually surprised right now. You didn't. They didn't go ahead and take that out when you got the cat eye.
Oh my God, they should have. That is crazy. Go ahead and fade it out here. Oh my gosh.
Um,
Is it like a little? Oh my! Is it like a little?
let me grab you one.
Oh my God!
Wait.
That is crazy. Now you did it. I done talked about my family, everything, and then here it is, this song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally like a lot of people, I try to get everyone a gift when they come here, but most things I can find like on Amazon. But that gospel artist is not,
Yeah, that's
not
old.
extremely well known, not new, and so I had to get it
Yes,
from.
that's because a lot of like their stuff is like on records.
Yeah. So I had to get a record. It's coming in. It'll be in soon, but you're right down the street, so I'll rush it over to you once it comes in. But I
Oh
wanted
my
to. I'm so
gosh.
curious about the impact that song had on your life
It
and
has a major
what it meant to
impact.
you.
That's how everything started with singing. That's
Hmm.
how they discovered that I could sing because I would go up there and I would get the microphone at church and I would just keep going. And my aunt them would like come up there and tell me like, okay, stop, stop, stop. Because I was just, oh, can't you see? And speaking of singing, like, before we go, like, I'm really happy now because I've been incorporating live singing more in my shows.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a whole nother thing. Like, I went through a whole period of just being like, just subconscious about like my voice changing and getting deeper and like being a beautiful woman and sounding like a baritone. Like I just went through that whole era of my life and then now I'm just so like comfortable with everything and I'm starting to sing more now and use my talent more now. So of course singing it brings back so many memories from when I was younger because that's the last time I really sung like that.
Hmm.
So I'm really happy with that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you have going on right now? Because you mentioned like you have your show, you have your residency. You say you're singing at that more. What do you have? Where can people find you in Vegas or any shows or tours coming up? Like, what's
I
going on with
do.
you?
So, I just became a new fish in the pond at Piranha and Gypsy.
Hmm.
So, if you're ever in Vegas, you can catch me at Piranha and Gypsy, Las Vegas. And next weekend I'm going to be performing in Brazil, November the 2nd. I'm going to
Brazil.
be in Rio, Brazil, performing for the Halloween party. I'm actually the first Dragula girl that they
Mhm.
ever had to come perform there, so I'm pretty excited about that. And the first uh 2 weeks of December, I have a residency in Puerto Vallarta.
Well, that'd
Um,
be fun.
yeah, so I have a residency at Act Two PV. So if you're in PV, make sure you come check me out. I have my one woman show that is called Body and Soul, and I'll be performing 3 times a week. 3 times the first week in December, three times the second week. So spread the word, and I'm super excited about that.
Hmm.
And then, of course, I got like some other traveling coming up to, maybe a city near you. But those are like some of the big things that I have coming up and possibly my own show.
Oh, okay. Stay
So
tuned for that.
stay tuned for that.
Is it weird being a Dragula ghoul now and getting such a huge influx of bookings every October? Because when I
Yeah,
was trying to book you for this, you were not available. You were booked all month.
I know. Like, it was so crazy
You literally
because
got off the plane coming back home before we filmed this.
I
That's the only
did.
window of time we had.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this month was pretty good. Now I didn't know how it was gonna go because like usually around this time of the month they're looking for like the spookies,
Yeah.
the ones that feel like the glamour girls are
Hmm.
are not spooky enough. Um, but I think that for me, it's not just Dragula. I think it's just like everything,
Hmm.
because I was already traveling a lot before I got on Dragula. Like that's why my hashtags are "Where's the Body" everywhere. But I am appreciative because a lot of my work over the last year came with being on the show.
Hmm.
And it was a pretty good run. It was a pretty good
Hmm.
run, and this month was like really good for me. And the rest of the year is really good for me, and I'm super happy
Hmm.
about that because this year was I feel like I was on trial.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like because like the last 11 years I was in Miami. I was at a place where I was known, that's where I got my stardom at, being there, my videos going viral, people knowing me, people booking me from working there. And then when I came to Vegas, and I moved to Vegas to be a part of a project, and it didn't work out. And so I just kind of felt like I was on trial, like going through a trial, not knowing how the end was going to be, but the end I end up winning in the end, and just never get too comfortable. Like that's my answer. Never get too comfortable, and sometimes when you think you have it all, the higher power will show you, baby, you can be brought down.
Yeah, I forgot you moved out here for a specific opportunity. I
I
forgot
did.
about that.
Yeah, and so
But
I was
yeah.
already, yeah, I left everything for this opportunity because I was very excited for the opportunity, and it started off pretty amazing, but um, yeah, so that's why I say I feel like I was on trial because I'm here. I'm already here. I've uprooted my whole life over here, and I'm not like a person that like to go backwards. Like I like to just keep going. I'm very much that type of person that don't mind. I don't mind bumping my head. I'm
Yeah.
young.
We don't go
There's a
back. No
whole lot.
reductions. Keep getting bigger. Keep moving forward.
Yeah, you just keep moving forward. I'm totally grateful for everything that I've experienced this year. I'm totally grateful for everything that I experienced in life because that led us sitting here together. And yeah.
Are all your social media names the same? Like Twitter, TikTok?
Yeah. So Twitter, Fantasia Gaga, Fantasia Royale Gaga, TikTok. You can find me on the Fantasia Royale Gaga. It's Where's the Body Now. But if you type Fantasia Royale Gaga, you can find me on TikTok, which is I'm trying to rebuild my TikTok now because I used to have like a big following on TikTok, and they kept like deleting my profile, like suspending it, and then they finally just suspended it. Kept saying like for nudity, like from like my videos that I would post like from the palace and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so now I'm trying to rebuild my TikTok, but definitely Instagram, Fantasia Royale Gaga, Fantasia Royale Gaga on Facebook. It's Latavia Golson, but if you type Fantasia Royale Gaga, all of my social media come up. I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have TikTok, and that's just about it. But maybe Grinder every now and then.
Every now and then.
But that's not Fantasia on there.
What's the name on there?
I changed
Is
it.
it Blessica Rabbit or something like that?
I've used Blessica. I use like the Body Shop, like little stuff like that. But that's it. I don't too tough like mess with Grinder. That's just a lot on there.
No,
Like
again, you're a woman of God, so
I
you don't
am,
get into all
so we
that.
don't do that.
So
Christian Mingle,
Christian Mingle,
That's
yeah.
all. That Christian Mingle.
Well, you can find her on Christian Mingle, and you can find me right here. Make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss any upcoming guests, and join us next time whenever we have somebody else. And yeah, yeah. Till then, bye guys.
See you later.
Let's go.
Because I was just rambling. I don't even remember half the stuff I said. Go ahead and just get some grease out of the kitchen, and I'll fill you up.